It's St. Patrick's Day, so we are making corned beef and cabbage. This recipe is from the 80s. This is the original recipe that was cut out from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch that Robert's mom used. She would make this every year at St. Patrick's Day. So Robert has made it enough that he consolidated it down to these little easier directions. Because the original recipe, you needed all these spices. That's no longer necessary because when you buy corned beef from the grocery store, it now includes spice packets. That makes it a lot easier. So besides your corned beef, you need cabbage, potatoes, carrots, celery, and onion to start off with. There's other ingredients that you need for the horseradish sauce, but we'll go over that later. So to start off with, you need to cut up your onions, carrots, and celery. The potatoes and cabbage you don't worry about because you're going to add that later, much later, because you don't want to overcook it. The meat has to cook for 3 hours, so we're going to start with these 3 things. So I'm going to cube these up and then I will come right back. Okay, we have taken the corned beef out of the package, add it to the pot. You need a deep pot. And then this is the seasoning mix that came with it, so just sprinkle the seasoning mix in as I dump it everywhere. Okay, this is 2 stalks of celery, 1 onion cut up, and 4 carrots. We're gonna add this to the pot, and this is really just more for flavor because we want to make a broth. This is gonna cook for 3 hours, and that's gonna cook down and make a broth, which is important for the horseradish sauce, which will be the next step. So you need to have this completely covered with water. So we're gonna add water, and then we're going to cook this on low heat with the lid on for 3 hours. I'm gonna need to add some more water. Anyway, I'll put the lid on, and again, we'll cook this for 3 hours. I did forget a step. You actually want to put this on high heat to begin with until it comes to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, then you reduce the heat to simmer and put the lid on and cook for 2 to 3 hours. You just have to constantly check it, not constantly, but like every half hour, to see how well the meat is cooking. Alright, so at this point we've been cooking the corned beef for 2.5 hours. So now we're going to add the potatoes and the cabbage. Robert is going to cut the cabbage to quarter pieces. And the potatoes we got are smaller. They are the baby Dutch yellow potatoes. So we're going to put them in at the same time as the cabbage. If you're using thicker potatoes, you might want to cook it longer. So you would add the potatoes first, cook it for 20 minutes, and then add the cabbage. But since we got small potatoes, we can cook this at the same time that we cook the cabbage. Now it looks good.
Okay.
No, I like that one. So I don't remember. Your mom cut it like.
Yeah, I don't remember how she did.
I think just those pieces because
I think so.
Okay. All right. So we just added the potatoes, and now we're gonna squish the cabbage on top.
I know this is gonna be a
I
mess.
kinda needed a bigger pot.
Oh, yeah.
What pot did your mom use? I don't remember.
No,
I
it's
don't
just,
remember.
That's right. But this is fine.
We didn't want to do the too big, and now maybe we are regretting our pot choice.
It's alright.
That's okay. Do we really need 4 pieces of cabbage? You can get it to fit. I know. You can do it. Because it will wilt down. The cabbage will wilt down.
Yeah, it'll wilt, but it's really gonna have to wilt. You got some serious wilting going on if it's gonna wilt. And I'm just gonna do that.
Just do that.
And then, yeah, this isn't working.
Alright, take out the 4th piece. We don't need the...
It'll cook down a little.
It'll cook down. We just give it like 5 minutes and then we'll put the lid back on.
Alright.
There you go. So now we're cooking it for another half hour. And then now at this point we're going to start getting the ingredients ready for the, what do you call it? The horseradish sauce. Alright, these are the ingredients for the horseradish sauce that I got ready. So it's 2 tablespoons butter, 4 tablespoons flour. We're going to add 2 cups of liquid from the broth that's cooking right now. And then 3 tablespoons horseradish, 3 tablespoons mustard, a half a cup of sour cream, and then a half a cup of heavy cream, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So the first step is you're going to melt the butter and then add the flour to make a basic roux, and then I will show the next steps after that. Alright, he is going to start the butter melting for his roux. He has 2 cups of the liquid from the broth. So we pulled the corned beef out. You want to pull the corned beef out after 3 hours and let it rest while, and this is the perfect time to start your horseradish sauce. And then we also pulled out the potatoes and the carrots and cabbage. So that's what it looks like. Everything's cooked, and it does not take long to make the roux at all. Roux? Am I saying it right?
Roux, yes.
Roux. All right, so, but it's gonna take a couple minutes, so I will come back when he's ready for the second step. All right, so he just cooked the flour and the butter down, and now he just added the 2 cups of broth from the corned beef. It looks very pretty. There's still a lot more ingredients.
Got another minute.
So you cooked this down for like 2 minutes?
2 minutes.
So it took about a minute for the butter and the flour to cook?
I did 2 minutes with the flour and the butter, and then 2 minutes with the broth and the roux. Just don't want it to burn.
All right. So I could never do this because you have to constantly stir it.
You do have to, yeah. You have to be careful because it will. Some people like dark roux, like a darker sauce. I don't. Okay. Now.
So that's the mustard and the horseradish go in next.
The cat's back at it.
He's tempting the dog with the toy snake.
We'll just cook that for a minute or two.
And then the last step is we add the sour cream, the heavy cream, and the lemon juice. You don't have to constantly stir it at this stage?
Not as much as you did. This you're just trying to cook the vinegar out of the mustard, or try to get that out of there. You can smell it as it cooks.
Mm-hmm. And the horseradish.
And the horseradish. You just don't want them to lose all the horseradish essence. He's back at it.
All right, let me go check on the cat. Okay, he just added the sour cream and the heavy cream, and he reduced the heat to extremely low.
Right.
Because he doesn't want it to boil, he just wants it to stir in. And then when do you add the lemon juice?
Give me just a second. I want to get these combined in first.
And now it's turning the white that I remember that your mom always made.
Yep.
Alright, that looks really, really good. Alright, we're done. This is the corned beef all sliced up. And then the cabbage and potatoes. The wonderful horseradish sauce that is the best part. And then the snake bread. This is green bread. I absolutely did not bake it. I bought it from the bakery. They only sell it on St. Patrick's Day or the week of St. Patrick's Day. So yes, that is green bread shaped like a snake. It's very interesting, but it's good. Okay, this is the corned beef and cabbage that I watched my husband cook for the last 4 hours. This isn't a quick meal, but it is well worth it. We only do this once a year, so I'm gonna take a bite. Well, Robert's mom used to do it, and now he took that over after she passed away. So I did not have this growing up. This was all Robert, so it is definitely one thing that I appreciate that he brought to the relationship because it's awesome. Really, I've never had this growing up. And why didn't I? It is so good. It's really good. So corned beef, it's salty, but that's to be expected. The horseradish sauce is awesome. If you don't like horseradish, it's not really overpowering at all, but it is so good. I really love it. Anyway, I hope you have a happy St. Patrick's Day, and thanks for watching.